3 months had passed since the battle at the mining station. The Earth looked peaceful from space. People went about their lives, most of them unaware how close they had come to extinction. Admiral Park stood on the bridge of the new ship Horizon. It was the largest vessel ever built by humans, and the first designed to travel beyond the solar system. Dr. Hannah Lee worked at a console nearby. Her hands moved quickly over the screen. "The early warning system is now active," she said. "We'll have 5 years' notice when the gamma-ray burst starts heading our way." "And the shields?" asked Da. "The technology from Wu's ship is amazing. The shields should protect most of Earth from the worst of the radiation." Day nodded. The map they had taken from Wu had shown exactly when and where the burst would hit. More importantly, it had shown how to detect it early, how to prepare for it. "What about our guests?" he asked. "They're adapting well," said Hannah. "The protein mix is working. No more hunger for human flesh." Day walked to the window. Below, on the surface of Mars, a new colony was growing. It was being built by both humans and future humans working together. After the battle, most of Wu's followers had surrendered. Without their leader, they had lost their will to fight. Now they worked alongside Jin's people. "It still bothers me," said Dai quietly. "What Wu said at the end." "That he was you?" asked Hannah. "I thought about that too. His DNA was similar to yours, but not exactly the same." "What does that mean?" "I think we've changed the future, created a new timeline." Hannah pointed to a screen showing the future humans working on Mars. "They'll still exist, but they'll be different now. Less desperate, less changed." The door opened. Sun entered. She looked different now. The treatment Hannah had developed was slowly reversing some of the more extreme changes in the future humans. Sun's skin was less gray. Her eyes showed more white around the black. "Admiral," she said, "we've finished the new drive system. It's ready for testing." "Thank you, Sun." Sun hesitated. "May I ask something?" "Of course. The memorial for Jin. When will it be ready?" "Tomorrow," said Da. "We'll place it at the center of the new colony." Sun nodded. "Good. He deserves to be remembered. He gave everything to change our path." After Sun left, Day turned back to the window. "Do you ever wonder," he asked Hannah, "what would have happened if they hadn't come back? If we hadn't known about the burst?" "Sometimes," said Hannah. "Earth would have burned. Billions would have died. The survivors would have fled to space unprepared. And over thousands of years, they would have become the fleshy." Dr. Hannah Lee stood in her lab at the Global Science Center in Seoul. On the table in front of her lay a small metal box. Inside was a sample from the crashed ship. "Are you sure it's safe?" she asked. Captain Da nodded. "The sample is sealed, but work fast. We need answers." Hannah put on special gloves and opened the box. Inside was a small piece of tissue. Not plant, not animal. At least no animal she knew. "I'll start right away," she said. Dade turned to leave, then stopped. "There's something else you should know. 3 of our team members went missing at the crash site last night." Hannah looked up sharply. "Missing?" "We found blood. A lot of blood." Day's face was grim. "But no bodies." Hours later, Hannah stared at her computer screen. She had run the tests 5 times now. Each time, the results were the same. The lab door opened. Director Kang walked in. "Dr. Lee, have you made progress?" Hannah pointed to her screen. "Look at this DNA sequence. It's human. Almost. But with changes. Big changes." "What kind of changes?" asked the director. "Extra proteins that don't exist in any human. Bone density 3 times normal. A second stomach-like organ." Hannah shook her head. "These are not random changes. They're adaptations." "Adaptations to what?" "To survive in space without protection. To live on very little food. To..." She stopped. "To what?" "To digest raw meat more efficiently." Hannah looked up. "Human meat." Captain Da watched the video on his tablet. The security camera showed a dark corridor in the lunar base. At first, nothing moved. Then a shadow. Then a figure. It moved fast, on all fours like an animal. It stopped, looked directly at the camera. It was the same creature Da had seen at the crash site. Humanoid. Gray skin. Black eyes. Sharp teeth. The video continued. Another figure entered the frame. A human. One of the missing team members. The creature leaped. The human fell. There was a struggle. Then the creature dragged the still-moving body away. Day stopped the video. He couldn't watch more. His comm unit beeped. "Captain, we have a situation," said Lieutenant Mai. "The moon base has lost contact with Outpost 7. "How many people at Outpost 7? "12, sir." Dag closed his eyes briefly. "Send a team. Tell them to be careful." Dr. Hannah Lee connected to the emergency meeting from her lab. On the screen were 20 faces, military leaders, scientists, government officials. "Dr. Lee, explain your findings," said the UDF general. Hannah took a deep breath. "The creatures are human, or they were once human. Their DNA shows they've evolved, changed. But the base code is still human." "That's impossible," said someone. "Evolution takes millions of years." "Not if it's guided," said Hannah. "Not if they use genetic engineering. And there's more. The age of the ship parts we found. They're made of materials we know, but the isotope ratios are wrong." "Wrong how?" asked the general. "They've decayed too much. If my calculations are right, that ship was built at least 10,000 years from now." The room went silent. "You're saying these creatures are from the future?" asked the general finally. "Yes, human descendants from the far future, changed by time, space, and need." A new video feed appeared on the screen. It showed the lunar base. Bodies lay in the corridors, blood on the walls, and a message written in what looked like blood. "We are you. You will be us." "The media is calling them flesh eaters," said the general. "Reports are leaking. People are panicking." "How many of these things are there?" asked someone. "The original team counted at least 15 separate individuals," said Da. "But they're spreading. They've taken over the entire north section of the lunar base." "Why are they attacking us?" asked the general. Hannah zoomed in on her screen, showing a strange pattern in the DNA. "Because they're starving. They've evolved to survive on human flesh, and now they've found the perfect hunting ground." "Their ancestors," whispered someone. "Exactly," said Hannah. Captain Dodpark stood before his new team. 5 soldiers and 1 scientist. The best of the best. "You all know why we're here," said Da. "The flesh eaters have taken over half the moon base. 37 people are dead. 21 are missing." He pointed to a map on the screen. "We go in through the south airlock. Our mission is to capture one alive. We need to know more about them." Sergeant Su Choi checked her weapon. It was new, designed to stun, not kill. "What if stunning doesn't work?" she asked. "Then you use this," said Dai, handing out small black guns. "Real bullets. Last resort only." Dr. Hannah Lee spoke up. "Remember, they look almost human, but they're stronger and faster than us. Their skin is thick. Their bones are dense, and they don't need air to breathe, at least not much." "How is that possible?" asked a young soldier. "They've evolved," said Hannah, "or they were changed. Their lungs can pull oxygen from very thin air. Their skin holds in moisture. They're built to survive in space." "And to eat us," said another soldier. Day nodded grimly. "Let's move out." The moon base was dark and cold. The team moved quietly through empty halls. Blood stains marked the walls. Broken equipment lay everywhere. Sue held up her hand. The team stopped. "I heard something," she whispered. They listened. A soft scratching sound came from ahead. Sue pointed to a side door. Day nodded. 3 soldiers moved into position. Sue kicked the door open. The soldiers rushed in. Inside was chaos. Tables turned over, papers scattered, and in the corner, a figure crouched over something red and wet. The creature looked up. Its black eyes reflected the light from their helmets. Blood covered its mouth and chin. "Stun it," shouted Da. Sue fired. Blue electricity hit the creature. It screamed, a high, almost human sound. Then it fell to the floor. "Check its pulse," ordered Da. Hannah moved forward carefully. She placed 2 fingers on the creature's neck. "It's alive," she said. "Heart rate very slow but steady." "Bag it and tag it," said Da. "Quick, before more come." Back at the secure lab, Hannah watched as they strapped the creature to a table. It was male, she thought. Though its body was different from a normal human, the basic parts were the same. "It's waking up," said a lab tech. The creature's eyes opened slowly. Black, but with small pupils. It looked around the room, then focused on Hannah. "Where am I?" it asked. The room went silent. No one had expected it to speak. "You can talk," said Hannah finally. "Yes," said the creature. Its voice was rough, like it wasn't used much. "You are ancestors." Hannah stepped closer. "We are humans. What are you?" "Human," said the creature. "Different, but human." "What's your name?" asked Da. The creature made a strange sound, part click, part word. "In your speech," it said after a moment, "you would say, Jin." "Why are you killing us?" demanded Da. Jin blinked slowly. "Need food. Long trip. No food left." "You eat people," said Sue, disgust in her voice. "Eat what is there," said Jin. "In the black between stars, eat what is there or die." "Where did you come from?" asked Hannah. "Earth," said Jin. "But not this Earth. Earth after the great light." "What great light?" "The sky fire, the death of most. Soon it comes." Hannah and Da looked at each other. "When?" asked Hannah. "In your count, 61 years, 2 months, 5 days. "That's very exact," said Da, suspicious. "We remembered," said Jin. "We all remember. The story of the great light is our beginning." "Why did you come here?" "To warn us," asked Hannah. Jin was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at each of them in turn. "No," he said finally, "to save ourselves. But ship broke. Nav systems failed. Crash." "There are others like you," said Da. "They're killing people." "Yes," said Jin. His black eyes showed no emotion. "They are hungry. Always hungry. The long sleep makes the hunger worse." "Long sleep?" asked Hannah. "To travel through time," explained Jin. "We sleep. For us, a few days. For the universe, thousands of years." Outside the lab, alarms began to sound. "Captain," called a voice over the comm. "We have a breach in Sector 4. Multiple contacts." "They're coming for me," said Jin calmly. "They can sense each other, like family." Day pulled his gun. "How many of you are there?" Jin smiled, showing those sharp teeth. "More than you can kill," he said. "We are the future, and we are hungry." Dr. Hannah Lee worked quickly. Alarms still rang through the base. Captain Da had gone to help fight off the attacking flesh-eaters, leaving her alone with Jin. "I need to take more samples," she told him. Jin watched her with his black eyes. "You want to know how we changed?" "Yes." Hannah took a small piece of skin from Jin's arm. He didn't flinch. "The changes started small," said Jin. "After the Great Light, the survivors went to space. No choice. Earth was burning." "What was this Great Light?" asked Hannah. "You call it gamma-ray burst. From dying star. In year 2218. Hannah stopped her work. "That's very specific. We remember the exact day. The day of fire. When Earth died." Hannah put the sample under a microscope. What she saw amazed her. The cells were unlike any human cells she had ever seen. They were stronger, more complex. How many survived? She asked. Few thousands, said Jin. On ships. Not ready for deep space. Not enough food. Not enough air. So you started to eat each other, said Hana, trying not to show disgust. Jin's face remained calm. First, we ate the dead, then the old, then the sick, then whoever was weakest. Hana felt cold. For how long did this go on? Generations, said Jin. Some ships found planets. Most died. Our ship drifted. We changed. Jin pointed to his stomach. Second stomach to get more from food. Thick skin to survive cold of space. Eyes to see in dark. And you eat raw flesh, said Hana. We eat what keeps us alive, said Jin simply. The lab door opened. Captain Dai entered, his uniform covered in blood. We drove them back, he said. For now, did you learn anything? Hana showed him her screen. Jin's DNA is definitely human, but changed. These changes couldn't happen naturally in just 15,000 years. Not natural, agreed Jin. Our ancestors used science, changed themselves, to survive. And you came back in time. Why? Asked Da. Jin was quiet for a moment. To change history. To save Earth from the gamma-ray burst. Asked Hana. Yes, but also, Jin hesitated. To steal resources, food, technology. To raid the past, said Dai angrily. Jin shrugged. To survive. Hana's computer beeped. New test results appeared on screen. This can't be right, she whispered. What is it? Asked Da. Hana looked at Jin, then back at her screen. I compared Jin's DNA with our database. There's a match. With who? Hana turned the screen so Da could see. With you, Captain. Jin shares 25% of your unique genetic markers. Da stared at Jin. What does that mean? It means, said Hana, that Jin is your descendant. Maybe a great-great-grandchild. Da stepped back. That's impossible. Time makes many things possible, said Jin. The Park bloodline is strong. It survived the Day of Fire. Da's comm unit beeped. Captain, we have a problem. The creatures have broken through to level 3. I'll be right there, said Da. He looked at Jin one more time, then left. Hana continued her tests. Jin, I don't understand. If you came to warn us about the gamma-ray burst, why are your people attacking us? Not all agree, said Jin. Some, like me, want to warn. Others, like Wu, want only to feed. He leads them now. Who is Wu? Our leader. Oldest. Smartest. Most changed. Hana's screen flashed with new data. Her eyes widened. Jin, your cellular structure. It's amazing. Your cells can repair themselves from radiation damage. They can survive vacuum. These adaptations could help us today with space travel. Yes, said Jin. We have much to offer, if you help us. Help you how? Food. We need food, but not people. Jin pointed to a machine in the corner. Your protein maker. It can save us. You mean you don't need to eat people? Need meat. Fresh meat. But source does not matter. A loud crash shook the lab. The lights flickered. They're getting closer, said Jin. Soon, Wu will be here. What will he do? Jin's black eyes were serious. Kill all. Eat all. Unless. Unless what? Unless we stop him together. Human and future human. Past and future as one. Hana looked at her data again. Then she made a decision. She pressed a button, releasing Jin's restraints. If you betray me, she said, you betray your own past. Jin stood up slowly. To save the future, we must save the past. Another crash, closer now. Jin looked toward the sound. Wu comes, he said. And he is very, very hungry. The news spread fast. People on Earth watched their screens in fear. The flesh-eaters were not aliens. They were humans from the future, changed humans who ate other humans. Some people wanted all the flesh-eaters killed. Others said they should be helped. After all, they were still human. On the main UDF ship above the moon, General Yu listened as Dr. Hannah Lee explained her findings. Jin's DNA contains adaptations that could help us, she said. His cells can repair radiation damage. His lungs can breathe thin air. His skin can handle the vacuum of space for short times. And he eats people, said the general flatly. But he doesn't have to, insisted Hannah. Jin showed me how their digestive system works. They need fresh protein, yes, but it doesn't have to be human. Captain Dai stood nearby, his face troubled. Since learning that Jin was his distant grandchild, he had been quiet. What does Jin want in return for this help? Asked the general. A new home, said Hannah. A place where his people can live. And our help to stop Wu. Who is Wu again? Their leader, said Da. The most change. Jin says Wu has gone mad from the time travel. He only wants to feed and destroy. The general frowned. How do we know Jin is telling the truth? How do we know this isn't a trick? Before anyone could answer, alarms sounded. Sir, called an officer. We've lost contact with the North Lunar Base. The general turned to a screen. It showed the lunar surface. A small explosion flashed at the North Base. What was that? He demanded. They're fighting back, said Jin's voice from the doorway. Everyone turned. Jin stood there with 2 guards. His black eyes looked at the screen. Wu is taking your weapons, he continued, learning how they work. He is not like me. He has changed too much. What do you mean? Asked Hannah. My group kept some human ways, some human feelings. Wu's group, they only kept the hunger. The screen changed to show inside the North Base. Bodies lay everywhere. Among them walked tall, gray figures. The flesh-eaters. They moved with strange grace, picking up human weapons. One figure turned to the camera. His face was less human than Jin's. His head was larger, his teeth longer, his eyes completely black. Wu, whispered Jin. Wu looked at the camera and spoke. His voice was deep and strange. We see you, ancestors. We hunger. We come. The screen went black. They've cut the feed, said an officer. How many people were at that base? Asked Da. 217, said the general quietly. The room fell silent. Now do you believe me? Asked Jin. Wu will not stop. He will kill and eat until nothing remains. Why does he hate us so much? Asked Hannah. He does not hate, said Jin. He hungers. And Jin paused. He believes this is how it must be. What do you mean? Asked Da. Wu believes we cannot change the past, that all this has happened before, that we must let it happen again. That's crazy, said Hannah. Is it? Said Jin. If we change the past, we change our future. We might never exist. The general stood up. Enough talk. We need action. Captain Park, take your team back to the moon. Find out what weapons these flesh-eaters have taken. Yes, sir, said Da. Dr. Lee, continue your work with Jin. If his DNA can help us, I want to know how. And what about the other flesh-eaters? Asked Hannah. Jin's group, the ones who want peace. The general looked at Jin for a long moment. How many in your group? He asked. 7 now, said Jin. Others died in crash. And how many follow Wu? 23. The general nodded slowly. We will help your group, Jin, if you help us stop Wu. I will help, said Jin, but you should know something else. What's that? Wu knows about the Day of Fire. He knows exactly when and where the gamma-ray burst will hit Earth. This knowledge is why he is our leader. And he won't tell us? Asked Hannah. Jin shook his head. He believes the burst must happen, that our evolution must happen, that we must become the flesh-eaters, even if it means most of humanity dies. Asked Da, angry now. Jin looked at him with those black eyes. Yes, he said simply. Even then, Jin stood before the 6 other members of his group. They had been moved to a secure room on the UDF ship. They looked less human than Jin. Their skin was grayer, their eyes blacker, their fingers longer, but they stood straight and spoke clearly. We help them. They help us, Jin told his people. They will make food for us. Real food. A female with long white hair stepped forward. Wu will call us traitors, she said. Wu only cares about hunger now. Son, said Jin. He has forgotten why we came back. Captain Da watched from the doorway. These strange beings were his descendants. The thought made him uncomfortable. Dr. Hannah Lee worked at a machine nearby. She had been trying to make a protein mix that the future humans could eat. It had to be fresh. It had to contain certain chemicals. It had to be warm. Try this, she said, holding out a tray of red cubes. Jin took one and bit into it. Red juice ran down his chin. He closed his eyes. Good, he said after a moment. Very good. His people each took a cube. They ate quickly, making small sounds of pleasure. The hunger is less now, said Sun, looking at Hana with something like thanks in her black eyes. General Yu entered the room. Captain Park, Dr. Lee, I need to speak with you. They stepped outside. The president has been briefed, said the general. She wants to know if we can trust these future humans. Jin's group seems sincere, said Hana. They're helping us understand their biology, and they've agreed to tell us everything they know about the gamma-ray burst. But can they fight? Asked the general. Wu's group has taken over the entire North Lunar Base. They've killed everyone there, and they're learning to use our weapons. Jin says his people are warriors, said Da. They had to be, to survive. The general nodded. Good, because we're sending you back to the moon. Tonight. The small ship landed quietly on the dark side of the moon, far from the North Base. Captain Da led his team outside. 5 human soldiers and 7 future humans, all armed. Remember the plan, said Da. We find Wu. We capture him alive. We need what he knows about the gamma-ray burst. Wu will not surrender, said Jin. He believes too strongly. Then we'll take him anyway, said Da firmly. They moved across the lunar surface. The future humans were faster, jumping long distances in the low gravity. They seemed at home here, in the cold vacuum. Sun stopped suddenly, raising her hand. Everyone froze. I sensed them, she whispered through the radio. 3, maybe 4. That way. Day signaled to his team. They spread out, weapons ready. 3 figures appeared over a ridge. Flesh-eaters, but not from Jin's group. Their movements were different, more animal-like. They carried human weapons. Hold fire, ordered Da. Jin, can you talk to them? Jin made a strange clicking sound, then spoke in words Day didn't understand. The 3 flesh-eaters stopped. One answered, its voice harsh. What do they say? Asked Da. They say Wu waits for us. Translated Jin. At the old mining station. It's a trap, said Sergeant Su. Of course it is, said Jin. But we still go. Back on the UDF ship, Dr. Hannah Lee watched the team's progress on a screen. She had wanted to go with them, but the general had refused. She was too valuable. Instead, she worked on her computer, analyzing Jin's DNA. The more she studied it, the more amazed she became. The future humans had changed in ways she had never imagined possible. They could survive radiation that would kill a normal human. They could go without air for hours. Their bodies used every bit of food they ate, wasting nothing. Hana saw something new in the data. She leaned closer to her screen. That's impossible, she whispered. She checked again. The result was the same. She pressed a button. General Yu, I need to speak with you immediately. I found something in Jin's DNA. What is it? Asked the general's voice. Sir, Jin's people didn't just evolve naturally. They were engineered. And the technology, it's ours. Current technology, just used in ways we haven't tried yet. What are you saying, Doctor? I'm saying that someone alive today helps create the flesh eaters in the future. Someone who survives the gamma ray burst. On the moon, Day's team approached the old mining station. It was built into the side of a crater, dark and silent. Wu is inside, said Jin. I can feel him. His hunger. Remember, we take him alive, said Da. Jin looked at him with those black eyes. We will try, he said. But Wu has changed too much. He may not be human enough anymore to take alive. The mining station was dark. Most of its power was gone. Only a few red emergency lights still worked. Captain Da led his team inside, weapons ready. Stay close, he whispered. Jin and his 6 future humans moved silently. They seemed to see well in the dark. Sun touched Jin's arm and pointed down a long hall. There, she said softly. A noise came from deep in the station. A strange clicking sound, then a low moan. What was that? Asked Sergeant Su. Feeding, said Jin. They are feeding. The team moved deeper into the station. The halls grew darker. The air felt thick and warm. They came to a large room. It had once been the main mining control center. Now it was something else. The walls were covered with strange marks, symbols written in dark red. Pieces of machinery had been taken apart and put back together in new ways. In the center of the room was a large table. On it lay something covered with a cloth. What is this place? Asked Da. Wu's nest, said Jin. Where he plans, where he remembers. Remembers what? The future, our past. Jin looked around. He has gone mad from remembering. Day stepped closer to the table. He pulled back the cloth. It was a map of Earth, but different. Large areas were marked in red. Notes were written all over it in a language Da couldn't read. What is this? He asked. The map of death, said a new voice. The pattern of the great light. Everyone turned. A figure stood in the doorway. Taller than Jin. Thinner. His skin was not just gray but almost white. His eyes were huge and completely black. His teeth showed even when his mouth was closed. Wu, said Jin. Brother, said Wu. His voice was deep and strange, like it came from somewhere else. You bring the ancestors to me. How kind. We've come to take you back, said Da. We need what you know. Wu laughed. It was a terrible sound, like metal breaking. What I know would break your mind, little ancestor, he said. The things I have seen. The changes that must come. More figures appeared behind Wu. 20 or more. All like him, but different from Jin's group. More changed. Less human. Day raised his weapon. You're coming with us. Wu. One way or another. I think not, said Wu. He raised his hand. In it was a small device. Do you know what this is? A detonator, said Su. Yes. Connected to bombs all through this station. Bombs your people so kindly left behind. You're bluffing, said Da. Am I? Wu smiled. Shall we find out? Jin stepped forward. Wu, this has gone too far. We came back to warn them. To save them. No, shouted Wu. We came back to ensure it happens. The great light must come. Our evolution must happen. It is our destiny. It's madness, said Jin. Billions will die. Billions must die, said Wu. For us to become. Day looked at the map again. Now he understood. It showed where the gamma ray burst would hit Earth, which parts would burn, which parts might survive. You could save billions of lives by sharing this, he said to Wu. Why won't you? Wu came closer. His black eyes seemed to look through Da. Because, little ancestor, if they live, we die. If Earth does not burn, we never leave. We never change. We never become. There has to be another way, said Jin. There is no other way. Wu's voice shook the room. I have seen all paths. I have calculated all futures. In every one where humanity survives whole, we cease to exist. Then maybe you should, said Sue, raising her gun. No, shouted Da. But it was too late. Sue fired. The shot hit Wu in the chest. He staggered back, then straightened. The wound closed before their eyes. Fool, he hissed. I am beyond such weapons now. Wu pressed the detonator. Nothing happened. He pressed it again. Still nothing. Looking for this, Dr. Hannah Lee stepped from the shadows holding a small box. The real detonator. Wu's face changed. For the first time, he looked uncertain. How? He began. Your people aren't the only ones who can plan, said Hannah. We found your bombs hours ago. Wu screamed in rage. He leaped at Hannah with impossible speed. Jin moved even faster. He threw himself between them. Wu's long claws tore into Jin's chest. Brother, gasped Jin. Remember why we came. Remember who we were. I remember only the hunger, said Wu. The endless, burning hunger. Jin looked past Wu to Da. Their eyes met. Captain, said Jin weakly. The map. It shows when, where, how to stop it. No, screamed Wu. He pulled his claws from Jin's chest and turned to destroy the map, but Da was already there. He grabbed Wu's arm. For a moment, they stood face to face, ancestor and descendant, human and what human might become. You're me, whispered Wu. That's the final joke. You're me from long ago. Then the room exploded into chaos. Jin's people fought Wu's people. Guns fired. Bodies fell. 3 months had passed since the battle at the mining station. The Earth looked peaceful from space. People went about their lives, most of them unaware how close they had come to extinction. Admiral Dodpark stood on the bridge of the new ship Horizon Asterisk. It was the largest vessel ever built by humans, and the first designed to travel beyond the solar system. Dr. Hannah Lee worked at a console nearby. Her hands moved quickly over the screen. The early warning system is now active, she said. We'll have 5 years' notice when the gamma-ray burst starts heading our way. And the shields? Asked Da. The technology from Wu's ship is amazing. The shields should protect most of Earth from the worst of the radiation. Da nodded. The map they had taken from Wu had shown exactly when and where the burst would hit. More importantly, it had shown how to detect it early, how to prepare for it. What about our guests? He asked. They're adapting well, said Hannah. The protein mix is working. No more hunger for human flesh. Da walked to the window. Below, on the surface of Mars, a new colony was growing. It was being built by both humans and future humans working together. After the battle, most of Wu's followers had surrendered. Without their leader, they had lost their will to fight. Now they worked alongside Jin's people. It still bothers me, said Da quietly. What Wu said at the end. That he was you, asked Hannah. I've thought about that too. His DNA was similar to yours, but not exactly the same. What does that mean? I think we've changed the future, created a new timeline. Hannah pointed to a screen showing the future humans working on Mars. They'll still exist, but they'll be different now. Less desperate, less changed. The door opened. Sun entered. She looked different now. The treatment Hannah had developed was slowly reversing some of the more extreme changes in the future humans. Sun's skin was less gray. Her eyes showed more white around the black. Admiral, she said, we've finished the new drive system. It's ready for testing. Thank you, Sun. Sun hesitated. May I ask something? Of course. The memorial for Jin. When will it be ready? Tomorrow, said Da. We'll place it at the center of the new colony. Sun nodded. Good. He deserves to be remembered. He gave everything to change our path. After Sun left, Da turned back to the window. Do you ever wonder, he asked Hannah, what would have happened if they hadn't come back? if we hadn't known about the burst. Sometimes, said Hannah, Earth would have burned. Billions would have died. The survivors would have fled to space unprepared. And over thousands of years, they would have become the flesh eaters, finished Da. But that won't happen now, said Hannah firmly. We know what's coming. We're preparing, and we have their genetic adaptations without the need for flesh eating. Day smiled slightly. Humanity's greatest strength has always been adaptation. And cooperation, added Hannah. Don't forget that. On the ship's lower deck, 20 children played in a large room. Half were human children from Earth. Half were the children of the future humans. They played together, laughed together. The future human children still looked different. Paler skin, darker eyes. But they were changing, becoming more like their ancient ancestors again. A teacher watched them with a smile. Who wants to hear the story of Jinn? She asked. Me. Me, the children called. Very well. Once upon a time, there was a great hero who traveled across time to save his ancestors. In his quarters, Dai looked at a small box on his desk. Inside was a vial of blood. Jinn's blood. The last sample taken before he died. Hannah had tested it one final time and made a discovery that still amazed Dai. Jinn had not just been his descendant. He had been his direct descendant, his great-great-grandson. Dai closed the box. Then he picked up his uniform jacket. On the shoulder was a new patch, the symbol of the United Earth and Future Human Alliance. It showed two hands clasping, one normal human hand, one longer with sharper fingers. Below that was the Alliance motto, past and future as one. As Dai walked back to the bridge, he thought about what Jinn had sacrificed, about what Wu had feared would be lost. The future humans would still exist, but they would be different now. The desperate evolution, the hunger, the loss of humanity, all those things would be avoided. Instead, humanity would face the stars prepared, together. Day looked out at Mars once more, at the colony where humans and future humans built a new world together. We did it, Jinn, he said softly. We changed our path. Somewhere in the vast universe, a star began to die. In time, it would release a burst of gamma rays that would travel toward Earth. But this time, Earth would be ready. ***, the end ***.